You're a victim.
Mbappe has gone too far with this one, I can't lie. And as for my man here, only option is retirement. Tough. Match day 2, ladies and gentlemen, and we're back with a quick review. The games got off to a flying start with Wales taking on Iran in a match that both teams absolutely needed to win. It was Iran that stepped up here, peppering Wales all throughout the game and never really being threatened by their opponents. Wayne Hennessy got himself a red card late on, and Wales should have known better. Alcohol is banned in stadiums. All the same, Iran waited until the 98th minute to stun the Welsh. And what a stunner it was. Rozbeh Sheshmi, take a bow. This was the first goal scored from outside the box in a World Cup, and it came in the 98th minute. Unreal. They added a second in the 101st minute, and just like that, Iran are in a strong qualifying position. Next up, we had the battle of soccer versus football. As decided at the most recent UN summit, loser had to keep James Corden and Piers Morgan. So there was a lot on the line. It was 0-0. But the US got the better of England throughout the match, if we're all being honest. In England's first challenge of the tournament, they pretty much fell flat. Faith in Southgate was already shaky, but it seems to be dwindling further and further by the day. All the same, the US deserve major credit for their performance here. A young squad overall, and Christian Pulisic was only inches away from causing internet outages across the globe. Can you imagine the calamity if the US won against England thanks to a Pulisic goal? Looting, rioting, name-calling?
I guess we'll never know.
Here's how things were looking at the end of match day 2 in Group B. It's quite spicy. Qatar-Senegal was a pretty one-sided contest. 3-1 to the Senegalese in the end. And Qatar really are breaking all the records in this one. First host nation to lose more than one group match in a World Cup is one of them. And thanks to the Netherlands and Ecuador, they became the first team to be eliminated from the 2022 World Cup. I don't know about you guys, but I did not see this coming. Anyway, speaking of the Netherlands-Ecuador match, it was cagey, but I must say, Ecuador came to play in this one. It ended 1-1, but it was a great match. Cody Gakpo scored a thunderbolt with his apparent weaker foot early on, adding even more M's to his price tag, and who else but Ene Valencia drew Ecuador level. Guys having a great tournament. Only one spot in here is decided. Unfortunately, it's at the bottom of the table, so stay tuned. Here's how things all shaped up at the end of this round. A much improved Australia came into their game versus Tunisia and took control from the start. The last time the Socceroos scored a goal from open play in a World Cup was 2014, and somehow they've managed to score not one, but 2 goals from open play in this tournament. And this time, they actually won the match, their first World Cup victory since 2010 in South Africa. Timmy Cahill will be proud. They may have lost, but the Tunisians have been extremely vocal all tournament, shouting their team on at the top of their lungs. It's fantastic to see. I genuinely think nobody told France about the World Cup curse. Millions of memers around the world were left disappointed as France became the first team to qualify for the round of 16. Mbappe was the star of the show in this one, as was most of France, to be fair. Denmark were down and out. Griezmann and Rabiot often come alive for Les Bleus and definitely did so in this match. Donatello scored twice. First one was a swift attacking play, one of those where you watch the match and think that the defender should have tracked his run, but in reality, it's a lot easier said than done to track this man's runs. The second goal was a clinical dick shot. Top 10 sentences you never thought you'd hear today. With France through, the next spot has Australia in a strong position. It's a very interesting story here. After Saudi Arabia stunned Argentina last game, I realized the error in my way and switched allegiances. Saudi Arabia had my full support to go all the way. However, after watching their match versus Poland, me and this guy had the same idea. Poland ran out 2-0 winners with Szczesny saving a pen and Zielinski and Lewandowski slotting in Poland's strikes. A massive howler from Saudi defender Abdullah Al-Malki led to Lewandowski's goal, but I don't think he cared all too much. Lewandowski, that is. That was his first World Cup goal ever. Only once in World Cup history has a team lost its first game and gone on to win the whole thing. Going into this match, Argentina were looking to make themselves the second. However, Mexico came out with aggression. Overall, even though the first period was goalless, I'd say Mexico won that first half. And all of us were stuck asking the same question.
Where is Messi?
Where is Messi?
Messi down! Where is Messi down? Where is Messi?
When you're up against a team with this man in it, you're never safe. With Argentina needing inspiration, Messi became Thanos and decided to do it all himself. An outside-the-box shot that dealt a major blow to the Mexicans. Enzo Fernandez rounded up the scoring with a lovely dummy, then a bit of finesse. Benfica fans are both proud and sad that the Vultures are going to come for the 21-year-old very, very soon. He only came on in the 57th minute, but he had a great game. Argentina looked pretty chuffed in this footage of them in the locker room. Good on them. Here's how the table was looking at the end of this match day for this bunch. The Poles in pole position, which I never saw coming, and the rest of the group pretty open. And speaking of surprising results, in perhaps the biggest upset of the tournament yet, Costa Rica, who were pumped by Spain, managed to topple the mighty Japan, who stunned Germany. Make it all make sense. Somebody, please, make it all make sense. Japan's manager pulled off a disaster class with strange selections and tactics. And as a result of that, with their first shot on target in the entire tournament, Costa Rica managed to score. There was a bit of shady goalkeeping by Japan's number 1 here, but that doesn't take away from the facts. CONCACAF registered their first win at the World Cup. With this result, Germany, who were beginning to lose all hope of progressing, were awarded a boost just a few hours before facing Spain. Hope that unfortunately was not capitalized on in their clash with the Spanish. To be fair, it could have been a hell of a lot worse. A Morata goal put Spain on course for outright qualification. Thankfully for the Germans though, a Niklas Füllkrug rifle resulted in parity between the two. So although it could have been worse, Germany was still left in a bit of a pickle going forward. This group has been great from a neutral perspective. There's still everything to play for and I love it. In a recently published interview, Kevin De Bruyne said that Belgium had no chance of winning the World Cup, with the reason being that they are too old. Well, Kevin, you might be right. Dude's mind is already on vacation, bro, I swear. To sum up Belgium's performance against Morocco, they were awful. They may have seen more of the ball as the game progressed and gotten a few shots in, but as we know, that does not always translate to goals. They were slow when it mattered. Here's leaked footage of Kevin De Bruyne at full time.
I'm too old for this shit.
And to top it all off, the Moroccan fans left the stadium in the exact same state as their team's sheets. Clean. On the flip side, Canada finally provided some bite to their bark and struck early against Croatia. Alphonso Davies, who was having a blinder of a tournament up to then, put them ahead with Canada's first ever goal at a World Cup. However, Croatia are no cakewalk. We all know this. And if Canada didn't know this, they do now. A double whammy in 8 minutes left Canada chasing shadows by half-time. They added 2 more in the second and ran out convincing winners. Canada has shown bits and pieces so far, but unfortunately, they will only get 3 games this time around. Morocco and Croatia look to be the most likely pairing to progress here, but anything can happen, I guess. I don't have a lot of faith in Belgium though. When it comes to my game of the tournament so far, Cameroon-Serbia has to be my pick. After about 10-15 minutes of feeling each other out, the game shot to life. Cameroon struck first and saw the rest of the first half through, in regular time, at least. With their minds seemingly already in the half-time break, Serbia scored twice in as many minutes in added time to flip the game on its head. The second half was just as crazy. A third goal from Serbia was then cancelled out by 2 Cameroon goals in 3 minutes. You can't write this stuff. Vincent Abubakar's goal to put 2 on the board for Cameroon looked offside based on screenshots like this. And by the look on his face after he scored, even he thought he was offside. That's the only explanation I can think of for this outrageous chip finish. But he was on. Both teams kept pushing, but that's how it eventually ended. Brazil vs Switzerland was a change of pace in an otherwise very eventful day of matches. It took 67 minutes for this contest to register its first goal, but then that was ruled offside. It actually took 83 minutes for first blood to be drawn. Casemiro, who was having a good game to begin with, fired Brazil ahead at the end of a sleek move. And with that, Brazil are through. Otherwise, here's how the rest of the table shaped up for Group G. Remember earlier when I said that the Cameroon-Serbia game was my game of the tournament? Ghana-South Korea took place directly after it and was a certified classic. It had me second-guessing myself immediately. 2 goals from both sides on both ends of halftime made it 2-2, which is getting kinda boring at this point, you know, add some spice to the script, FIFA. And then a Ghana winner happened when it looked like South Korea's momentum was going to carry them through. Real end-to-end stuff with both sets of players giving their everything. And there was some unbelievable defending by Ghana at the end of this one too. And while we're on the subject, this Ghana coach couldn't have picked a worse time to try and get a photo with Son. My man was literally crying. Read the room, my G. Bruno Fernandes came up with the goods for Portugal as they ran out 2-0 winners against Uruguay. An attempted cross by him ended up going all the way in. Much like Ronaldo, Harry Kane was also spotted outside the stadium claiming that the first goal was his. And Fernandes could have made a 3 in the 99th minute too. Dude's been on a tear this entire tournament. And with that, the game came to a close, and so did Matchday 2. Portugal secured qualification, leaving the rest of the pack to fight it out. It's all set up quite nicely. And there we have it. All in all, this was a thoroughly enjoyable round of matches. There weren't as many upsets as the first round, but there was enough entertainment to make that not matter at all, really. We'll be back after Matchday 3 to round up the groups, but until then, that's all from me today. Hope you all enjoyed, hope you're having a great day. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.